Welcome to the English 107 Technical Writing Series. This week we're going to be talking about creating charts and graphs from raw data. You may be asking yourself, why are we having to create different charts and graphs, and why are we having to create charts and graphs from data that we really don't need and that is foreign to us? Well, the first thing I would tell you is that by creating the charts and graphs from the data that I have provided in the calendar, you're going to learn how to use raw data. This is going to help you with your survey and learning how to use the data from your survey to turn those into charts and graphs for your proposal. And finally, it helps you learn how to create charts and graphs for your proposal, because that is going to be coming up in the following weeks. So let's take a look at the moment at the three required elements for your charts and graphs this week. Number one, your chart or graph must have a title. It must have the source of the data from where you pulled your numbers. Every piece of data that I have provided to you in the calendar tells you from where that data came. And finally, you must have numbers on your chart or graph. And yes, you wouldn't believe the number of times that I get a chart or graph that is void of numbers. So make sure that your chart or graph does have numbers. Let's take a moment and look at a line graph. Now, a line graph, as you see, is nothing more than a line plotted along a graph to show you the increase or decrease in the numbers, the data that you might have. This line graph represents one piece of data, whereas this line graph, you see that it represents not only the condo usage, but also the single family usage right here. So this line graph is comparing two pieces of data. So that's a little different than the first one. Let's take a look at a bar chart. Bar charts show the progression or decrease of numbers. And again, in this bar chart, you are seeing only one piece of data represented. Whereas in this bar chart, you will see that they're using it for comparisons. The purple bar here is for bugs. The blue, light blue chart here is for security holes. And the dark blue line here is for backdoors. So you see that in 98, they're comparing all three of these types of data. And you see that it's the same in 1999 all the way up through 2004. Let's take a look at this pie chart. Most everyone has seen a pie chart before. And basically, it is your data split into different pieces of pie that represent the amount of data for that piece of pie. Now, there are some things extremely incorrect with this pie chart. Can you guess for a moment some of the things that are wrong with this pie chart? You're right. The first thing that it does not have is that it does not have a title. The second thing is that it does not have a source. The third thing, and this is kind of unusual and not a lot of people know this, is that the pie pieces are out of order. In a pie chart, it needs to start here, and the biggest pieces of pie are represented first clockwise until the smallest piece of pie. So this little blue strip right here at 2% should really be up here as the last piece of pie. 41% is correct there, but the 32% should actually be here and then down to 8, 8 again, 5, 4, and 2. So this pie chart is out of order. Let's take a look at this pie chart. Now there's some things wrong with this one as well. Yes, it does have a title, but the title is very weak and vague. Your title needs to be stronger. It does not have a source. The pie pieces, again, are out of order because the yellow and the blue need to come before the red and the green. But one of the biggest problems here is that you see there are no numbers on this pie chart. So I understand that the red and the green are less than the blue and the yellow, but it doesn't tell me any of the data. And also, you do not have a legend out to the side telling me what these pie pieces mean and what these colors mean. Let's take a look for a moment at this pie chart. Here is your legend out to the side, so I know that the orange piece represents comedy, the yellow piece represents action, and so on down. This is called a legend. It has a title, it has a source, and it has the numbers represented here. Now, your numbers can be on the outside, they can be on the inside, or they actually could be over here, maybe under comedy, you would put 27%. I like to see them over at the pie piece, over on the outside or the inside, because that makes it much easier to read. So for this week, you are going to look in your calendar and you'll find multiple sources of raw data. This is an example of one piece of raw data where we're looking at the person's 25 and older by degree, and we're looking at their income. So here is the income for people with some high school. Here is the income for people with high school, associate degree, bachelor's, and master's. And you see they're comparing men and women together. So you'll take this raw data and you're going to turn it into a chart or a graph. So for this week, you need to create 2 charts or graphs using different data providing in the 107 calendar. Your chart or graph needs to have a title, you need to have a source of your data, you need to have numbers on your chart or graph, and finally your grade will also depend on if you chose the proper type of chart or graph to represent your data. So that is the assignment for this week. I hope you have a wonderful time learning how to design your chart or graph. Most students choose to do this in Excel. And if you don't know how to use Excel to create charts or graphs, there are some wonderful videos on YouTube. Happy designing, and I look forward to seeing your paper soon.